number 6, the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Warren and a second by Commissioner Parsons. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. Now on to item number 7, the comprehensive insurance renewal, Iron Insurance Partners.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners, tonight we have Iron Insurance here, previously Al Shank Insurance, here to present our comprehensive insurance renewal.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, evening commissioners. I first off want to state that I very much appreciate what you guys do because I was on a commission for 7 years, so there are a lot of thankless moments that occur on the commission. So that's first and foremost. So secondly, my name is RJ Meyer. Like I said, I am with Iron Insurance Partners in conjunction with Al Shank Insurance. So very grateful for everything that Al did for all the years that he took care of the insurance for the city. And so, like I said, we've been able to step right in and start to handle that from there. So I've been in the insurance industry for about 15 years. I sold my agency to Iron Insurance Partners about 2.5 years ago. So I've also got some business experience from that. Also, you guys are very familiar with Elsa. So she's been handling your account for a number of years. So, and then a interesting fact of, we were trying to get these copies printed off, and there were a couple of pieces in here that we needed to get filled in. And as technology goes, we have a couple of pieces of information missing off of this. Really, all it is blanket totals and so on, but the premium is correct and so on. So what we'll do is I'll have you flip over to page 1, 2, 3, 4. It'd be 6 for the premium summary, or 7, 8. It'd be the very last page for the premium summary. So we'll start there. What we've seen over the course of the industry is really a lot of changes, not only from property, but from liability claims. I think that's what we're seeing the vast majority of things as far as claims go. So you can see specifically the property speaking, that took a significant rate increase this year. Part of that was building valuations. Part of that is building material costs and so on. So that's where that's at. The really good highlight within this, part of it is the work comp. Part of it was the reduction of total payroll. But part of it is you guys' mod is excellent. It's 0.65. So the nice thing about that, to really kind of explain that for those that don't necessarily understand it within the insurance industry, you're 35% better than your peers in the same industry. So that is a really, really great position to be in, because we have a lot of other municipalities who are running 30, 40, 50% worse than their peers. And so, i.e., that's where a lot of the premium comes from. So that's an applause to Scarlett and her staff. So, all right, I'll jump back onto page 1, and we can really start on the commercial property side of it. Blanket commercial property valuations increased from 122 million to approximately 123 million. That's one of the digits that's missing in there. So we'll have everything officially over to you, Scarlett, so that way you guys can see the actual numbers. Blanket equipment limit stayed the same. Earthquake coverage, there was a couple changes in that aspect of it. $25 million blanket coverage on that, but it only specifies which buildings. Scarlett and Elsa have been working on that behind the scenes. So with the $25 million blanket limit coverage, I think we covered the waste treatment plant and a couple of other buildings on that side of it. So if you flip to the next page, the linebacker coverage, that is obviously what covers you guys. So that's really important in that aspect of it. We don't see a ton of claims, but what claims we do see are pretty significant. So law enforcement, straightforward. Crime is straightforward. We'll flip over the general liability. As I said, kind of off the initial statement, the GL, we are seeing significant claims starting to arise from the GL. So I do anticipate that right now, we're gonna stay flat for a year or two, but I do see that starting to creep up quite a bit over the next 10 years. So auto liability, same thing, straightforward. You guys have $1 million worth of single limit coverage. Flip to the inland marine. Same thing, straightforward on that one. I'm gonna go ahead and flip to the next page. Cyber liability, one of the things that we've kind of discussed behind the scenes, there are a little bit more, EMC does a great job. And so part of the thing was the shift away from EMC to Lloyd's of London from a cyber liability standpoint. There are a couple of other carriers that we're gonna look at before this next year's renewal to really kind of review, because I think they're a little bit more comprehensive in terms of their coverage. What we really get with the cyber liability claims that we start to see is we're starting to see these carriers come in, okay, we'll take care of you. But what they do is they'll say, we'll take care of you, but you gotta handle it all on your own. Lloyd's of London will still do a good job, but I think there's a couple more comprehensive carriers that we can really look at from there. So next page, work comp, like I said, we discussed that. The premium rate for a city this size is fantastic. There aren't many cities this size that the premium is even remotely close to this. A lot of times when you're talking payroll of 10 million plus, you're talking $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in work comp premium. So this has been, once again, this is a really great point from your insurance and from Scarlett's team. So everything else straightforward, liquor liability coverage, airport liability, and your blanket coverage, and then that comes to the premium summary. So are there any specific questions for me on anything you guys saw prior to this, or questions about the renewal?
So you talked about the general liability, you're seeing higher claims than that. What's driving that?
Really lawsuits. I mean, that's really what started to drive it, because people get hurt and their back hurts or their neck hurts or so on and so forth. And that's what's driving it. Slip and fall, slip and falls tend to happen from that standpoint too.
Yeah, but that's nothing new. I mean, that stuff's been around forever and
You're-
ever. I just wonder what's causing the,
People are getting more educated and starting to say, hey, we can take advantage of the system. And so that's really the biggest side of that, is that's what's driving the rate.
Another big part is consumer sentiment. As that begins to drop, which it's been bad for about the last 2
Yep.
years, you start having more people think, well, I pay for my insurance, I might as well use it.
Correct.
So, or vice versa, they get hurt at the city, then they want to go ahead and try and get something.
Well, it comes down to municipalities, trucking operations, things that have size and premium. They see those as opportunities,
Okay.
and people are opportunists at times, so,
okay, thank you.
yep,
No offense to the attorneys.
yeah.
That's fine. Hey, RJ, on your,
Yes, sir.
commercial property,
Mhm.
on your annual premium, we're gonna want the annual premium on the second page, not the last page. So can you tell us which
The-
one's the right
So the
one?
last page is the correct one.
Okay.
Yep.
Just making sure.
Yep, that was part of some of the technology giving us issues, so we didn't get the official quote until right at 4 o'clock this afternoon, so that was, EMC tends to drag their feet at times. Any other questions for me? Okay. I will say this to the commission. our experience with Scarlett and her team has been absolutely amazing. So you guys made a wonderful decision in hiring her. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think it being just slightly over a 1% increase for insurance and the way the market's been, this is a great presentation.
Yeah, we were pleased when we saw the percentage on both this and
I wish my
health
homeowners had
insurance.
gone up just 1%.
So I was just looking at it and thinking that it's a good thing that our work comp went down because
Yeah.
that all got ate up by
Yeah.
the commercial property, you know.
Yeah, and our experience mod hasn't always been 0.65 either. It's
Yeah, no,
been
that's
way
pretty
higher
low.
than that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's impressive for any business.
yeah.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the comprehensive insurance renewal through Iron Insurance Partners.
Second.
Have a motion by Vice Mayor Landry and a second by Commissioner Vasquez.
Mayor, we need to make sure we have that amount in the motion, and that's fine. Include that.
You want me to include,
Is that fine, just include the amount, Matt? You can just say amend it to add your amount, and then
amend
just to add
for the 342,000 on
No,
the
the-
comprehensive
No, no,
side?
no, the
The
one
million.
point one two five.
Okay, for the $1,125,109.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Second again.
Okay. Have an amended motion by Vice Mayor Landry and a second by Commissioner Vasquez. Any further discussion? Any from the public? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. Moving on to item number 8, resolution number 2430, adoption of the wastewater improvement fee.
Okay, so Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners, as previously discussed at the February 25th Commission meeting, the city intends to move forward with the proposal of a $10 flat fee to assist in the revenue needs of the wastewater plant. This fee will be assessed across both residential and commercial accounts and begin on April 1st, 2025. It is estimated that this fee will generate an annual revenue of $852,000 and assist the department with additional sewer infrastructure needs, with the main concern being a lack of funds to address any type of catastrophic failures within the dated sewer lines. And as I've said before, although the intent would be to keep the fee in place through the loan repayment, which is 2037, it can be discontinued at any time based on the city's current financial situation and the commission's vote. With that said, if we start it in April of 2025, it obviously won't produce $852,000. It'll be more in the $500,000 range, but it will most definitely assist with the revenue situation we have in Fund 520 and cover the next payment that we have due. We have a payment due in March and then a payment due 6 months from there that I was extremely concerned about how we were going to meet that need. So this will most definitely help with that and move us forward in a healthier environment.
I'll make a motion that we approve the $10 flat fee for the wastewater fund effective April 1st, 2025.
A second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Warren and a second by Vice Mayor Landry. Any further discussion? Any from the public?
Or do you need that worded to approve the resolution?
I think because it's in reference to that
That's-
item, we'll be
okay.
fine. With the next one, you can reference the resolution if it makes that
Okay.
much.
Okay, all in favor? All opposed? 4-1, motion passes. Moving on to item number 9, resolution number 2431, discontinuance of the water system improvement fee.
Okay, so Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners, this is the good news of the night. So I've gone home many evenings and thought of the different ways that we could address this situation with the citizens of Liberal in mind, incomes, fixed incomes in some cases. And it occurred to me after our last meeting that I might have a way to assist the public. So due to the implementation of the flat $10 wastewater improvement fee, for the revenue shortfall in addressing that, we are recommending the discontinuance of the water system improvement fee of $6.25 for residential customers and $12.50 for non-residential customers. I personally feel that the cash balance in the water fund is sufficient to cover current and future expenses. It's sitting over $6 million and has been sitting at a pretty healthy balance for a couple of years now. We've also controlled expenses and budgeted better. And we feel that that's enough to service that account, the current expenses, and the debt service. So my goal and the goal of our team here is not to overextend our citizens and keep flat fees at a minimum. And I feel like this is a way to basically change out those fees. So whereas the $6.25 or the $12.50 went to the water fund, this one now for $10 will go to the wastewater fund. I've already discussed this with utility billing. It will be a very simple accounting adjustment. Basically, we will change the title of the fee, we will change the account that it's crediting, and we'll take pressure off of the public and also solve our situation in wastewater.
So their combined bill really only has an increase of $375.
This is correct. So, and actually, for commercial customers, it'll actually be a bit of a decrease because they were paying $12.50 on the water improvement fee, and now everybody's just going to be paying $10 for sewer. And I feel that this might be a teeter-totter back and forth for years. By the time we pay this loan and move forward, we might need to address water again, and so we might have to shift it back over there. But the goal was to not have two fees simultaneously, and when I addressed the cash balance and looked through that, and then year-over-year expenses, I felt comfortable with that. If I wasn't comfortable, I would tell you. But I do feel like this is a good move for the city and the public. It's solving a couple of problems.
Oh, I definitely think that's great, especially seeing that we can sunset one of the fees, because that's one of the biggest concerns I know I would ever have when I'm reading a bill, and most people is, you see different fees on there, then you don't know what they're used for, you don't know where they go, and people promise that they'll eventually go away, and then they don't. So I appreciate you actually finding the ordinance, going through there, and going through all that work to help the
Yes,
citizens of
Alicia
Liberal.
helped me find the ordinance. I assumed there was a sunset date on that, but there was not a date listed. So basically, we are able to discontinue it based on your vote and shift that over to the fund that needs it the most, which makes sense.
Well, I'll make a motion, we approve resolution number 2431, discontinuing the water system improvement fee.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Parsons and a second by Commissioner Vasquez. Any further discussion? Any from the public? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. Item number 10, addition of the waiver for $10 wastewater improvement fee to the housing program.
Okay, so Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, this is the final item on the wastewater fee. So basically, remember in January, when Keith came and presented the housing grants that we offer, in those grants is a waiver for anybody who qualifies for that water system improvement fee based on those details of how they go through that approval process. So we want to make sure that those customers who already have that waiver are grandfathered in, and Melissa in Utility Billing said that we could do that. They will not have to reapply, so they will automatically get approved and grandfathered in to the $10 wastewater waiver. And then anybody in the future who qualifies based on our stipulations, they can also apply through the housing department with Erica or Keith or that crew over there and get the $10 fee waived. So we wanted to make sure we extended that. That was a thing with the water improvement fee. We wanted to make sure that we extended that with the sewer improvements as well for anybody who's on a fixed income or needs that type of consideration.
So I did have a comment with that. I did look through the guidelines, and it said that you have to be 60 years and older. But I was wondering if there was any way we could have a discussion or just food for thought What about veterans and low-income families?
The new one I thought included veterans and low income, just this year. The one we approved. But I don't know if this one has that qualification in it.
Well, that's the last one that I saw in it. It basically stated there were several qualifications, but you have to be 60 years and older. But I did not see an option for veterans or low-income families.
It's a good point. This application is last year's water application, not this year's water application.
Okay, I will look back at that because I know that we made some changes to include veterans. And a lot of our housing grants are for income-based situations. So I can go ahead and look at that. If we need to make a revision to that, we can most definitely do that with enough time before we start it. We wanted to do this a couple meetings in advance, so we had it all worked out before we rolled it out on April 1st. Keely, do you remember?
Yeah, so the
Okay.
veterans were included in the home repair program, and then low-income individuals are considered under the waiver program. Everything that is on the city website now has been updated from the decisions that were made in January. I believe the income amount is 125% of the
Yeah,
median.
of the median.
Yeah,
I did.
so that is, so 60 and older and that income requirement are eligible for the waiver.
Okay, I just didn't see it, so that was something that I wanted to highlight, because
Keith
I
did
thought it
put
was
that in
important.
there, so
Okay.
we will make sure it's that we're following the updated one, so
Okay.
we can definitely do.
Just added the motion, the updated,
It's
Fee waiver.
referenced in one of the restrictions, but it almost reads like you have to meet all those requirements in order to get it,
Yeah,
yeah.
so.
So you don't automatically get it if you're over 60, you have to qualify income-wise, right?
I think
Yeah.
that's correct, Ron.
Or we can waive our waiver, right?
Yeah, you could waive the waiver. Do you want, Scarlett, do you think it's best to address this at the next meeting with that? Just so we have it all
Yeah.
put together?
We probably need to, just for my peace of mind. I will tell you that the majority of the waivers that I have seen are 60 years of age and older, but I would like to confirm that before we make a decision. But we want the public to know that we most definitely are grandfathering the current customer base, and then we will present this again at the next one, if you guys are okay with that, with a little bit more clarification.
So you guys okay with just reflecting no action taken, will be addressed at the next city meeting on be the 25th? Is that fine with everybody? Consensus?
Yep.
Okay. With the intention to go ahead and approve it, but we want to make sure it applies to everybody we've spoken about. Okay, sound good, Alicia?
Okay. In that case, no action taken on item number 10. Moving on to item number 11, information technology.
Okay, so Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, bear with me on this one. Tim had to leave unexpectedly, so I'm filling in for him. All right, so I think he has two items to address here. The first one is the IT hardware refresh project. He is very thorough in his bidding, and he has included all of that in here. Looks like he's recommending CDWG for $154,147.55. And this was a budgeted line item out of the general fund in IT. If you remember at budget season, for the last 2 years, I've been adamant that I would like for all of the IT items, no matter what department that they end up in, that all of those items are budgeted to Tim's budget in IT so that we can better track all of our assets and move through those processes a little more seamlessly. So he is now housing all of that. He orders for all departments, and then he issues them out, if that makes sense. So he has that, and then he has another one, so we probably need to vote on them separately.
Correct.
I'm sorry that I'm not an IT person, so I won't be able to answer any of your questions you may have in detail. I just know that we properly budgeted for this. He probably had one of the higher budgets for capital expenditures for 2025, and we want to make sure those departments stay in good shape.
And again, the good thing is he's under budget on both his items.
He is. He's very good with getting his quotes.
I know you're not the IT person. I just kind of wonder what we're getting. What is the refresh?
So it appears that this is just overall hardware refresh. I'm just looking at the details of his quote. So he has tough books, which are used by multiple departments. Building's one of them. I think maybe PD uses a couple of these. He has, it looks like, new computers, maybe some monitors here. So this, what he calls IT refresh, is just refreshing the infrastructure of hardware.
Okay.
Laptop screens,
Yes.
keyboards.
And we actually budgeted for his fund about $172,500 overall. And so we're hitting right about there. And probably after you've reviewed that, we'll vote on this one, and then I'll move on to the Sonic Wallets. Okay. And when I say we budgeted 172.5, that's, this one for 154, 147.55 falls into that. The licensing falls into a different GL line item, so you don't have to worry about us being over that amount. We have a different line item for that.
I'll make a motion that we award the 2025 IT hardware refresh project to CDWG in the amount of $154,147.55.
Second?
Have a motion by Commissioner Warren and a second by Commissioner Parsons. Any further discussion? Any from the public? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. Moving on to item B, 2025 Sonic Wall Security Services licensing.
Okay, this is more software piece for protections for the city. So he has received 3 quotes. It looks like he is recommending the same company you just approved, CDWG, for $28,475.33. I will say Tim does a good job of making sure that our infrastructure is protected. In this day and age, you hear horror stories about malware, ransomware, anything that's shutting down water systems, electrical grids, any type of infrastructure that's vital to a community. And he makes sure these things are updated and refreshed. If we ever have any concerns, we can go straight to him and he will review that. So this is a different line item than your capital expenses, but it is budgeted for 2025. It does appear that he wants to go with the one that's slightly higher than this connection, but I think that CDWG is a company that we have worked with for years and that we feel comfortable with and approve of their services.
Yeah, and it's only $300 more.
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we award the 2025 Sonic Wall licensing purchase to CDWG in the amount of $28,475.33.
Second?
Have a motion by Commissioner Warren and a second by Commissioner Parsons. Any further discussion? Any from the public? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. Moving on to item number 12, ARFF training.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. Come to you this evening. This training is a requirement for the FAA, for the airport to maintain their Part 139 compliance. What it is it's KU Fire brings their MAF trailer down for the fire department to do their training, their live fire training. They do it every year, so it's a requirement. They're doing it in April 7th So what this is a memorandum. The training is going to be about $11,350 this year. It's a 3% increase from last year. They also stated it's going to be a 3% increase from now on. So I'll start having to budget a little more. Since this is an airport, since it's part of the airport, it's going to come out of the airport budget. So that's why I'm doing it. So they also require that we also get propane delivered for it. So it usually comes up to about 320 gallons, depending on if they come from another department that's used it. Sometimes they don't, but a lot of times, yeah, it'll be about 320 gallons. That'll come out of another line item. So, but at this time, I recommend that Commission approve the memorandum of agreement with the University of Kansas and the Liberal Fire Department. Let me reword this again. Recommend that the Commission approve the memorandum of agreement with the University of Kansas and the Liberal Fire Department, and that the fire chief send the memorandum back to the University of Kansas, and also approve the amount of the training to not exceed $12,000 to come out of the airport training budget, not to exceed $12,000.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the memorandum of agreement with the University of Kansas and the Liberal Fire Department, and for the fire chief to send the memorandum of agreement back to the university, and the amount of training not to exceed $12,000 to come out from the airport training budget.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Vasquez and a second by Commissioner Warren. Any further discussion? Any from the public? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Moving on to item number 13, Convention and Visitors Bureau Board Appointment.
Commissioners, we're very excited to bring forth a new board appointment for your consideration. The Convention and Visitors Bureau Advisory Board is recommending Levi Williams to serve the spot for a restaurant representative on the advisory board. He is owner of Tortilla Brewing Company. The recommendation is to approve him for a term beginning March 2025, expiring March 2029. It is difficult to find a restaurant representative for this advisory board. Many of them are busy running their businesses, and so we appreciate him for stepping up and applying for the position.
Well, I make a motion that we approve Levi Williams to be appointed to a 4-year term as a restaurant representative to the advisory board, beginning in March of 2025 and expiring in March of 2029.
Second? Oh, go ahead, Jen.
Second.
Have a motion by Vice Mayor Landry and a second by Commissioner Vasquez. Any further discussion? Any discussion from the public? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? 5-0, motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to item number 14, Capers Supplemental Contribution Agreement.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. Today I bring to you the proposed agreement for the city to participate in the Capers 401A plan. This plan allows the city to make employer contributions to employees' supplemental retirement accounts. So with this plan, we actually need this agreement in order to fulfill the city manager's contract pertaining to Section 8. So we already have the Capers 457B plan, which is the employee contribution aspect of the supplemental retirement. We just need this next part. The city attorney has already reviewed this agreement as well, and everything looks fine.
Is this something we're filing with the state, or
If this is
is
what,
it just an agreement that we did in our,
And Capers is a state program, so in order for us to comply with the, excuse me, with the agreement we have with city manager, this has to be taken care of with the state for us to be compliant.
anytime we have a change, whether it's a percentage of the contribution, a new city manager, if we were to expand this benefit to other employees, we would have to bring this back for approval each time we have a change.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Capers Supplemental Defined Contribution Plan Adoption Agreement for the Capers 401A plan.
Second?
I have a motion by Commissioner Vasquez and a second by Commissioner Parsons. Any further discussion? Any from the public? Seeing none, all in favor? All opposed? 5-0. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 15, public hearing to adopt development plan for rural housing incentive district, Larry and Hickory Streets. At this point, we'll go ahead and open the hearing. So I now declare the public hearing officially open. Legal notice, when was it published?
It was published, oh gosh, do you know the date? Yes, February 27th.
Okay. I now invite staff to testify in the matter before the commission.
So this is a rework of the RHID for Larry and Hickory Streets, which was originally presented with the developer paying for the infrastructure. In this development plan agreement, the city is going to be paying for the streets and utilities. The developer can still be reimbursed for some of the infrastructure, or some of the improvements, flat improvements to the homes that he builds. So sewer lines to the houses, sidewalks, driveways, and things like that. And also, cost of any site work he does. And the city is going to be paid their portion first, and then the developer. And under the new RHID, it's up to 25 years that the taxes can be rebated on the project.
And they'll collect their land cost, is not what they have put down.
Pardon?
They will be collecting their land cost, land acquisition cost.
Yes.
At this point, are there any questions from commission or staff? Okay. I invite anyone from the public to testify on the matter. Okay. Being no further comments, I declare the public hearing closed. And I'll entertain a motion on the Larry and Hickory Street Development Plan Agreement.
Would be to adopt the ordinance 4633.
$4602 or?
33.
4633, whatever.
Don't think it made it on the agenda.
Wonder why mine says 02. And it says 28.
You said 4633?
Yes.
Yeah, 4633.
Well, I know what you're talking about.
No,
You're talking about
actually, it was
this.
on the item report, isn't it?
Yeah,
And that ordinance
The
will
old
adopt
one?
the
The old one.
development plan.
okay.
I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance number 4633.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Warren and a second by Commissioner Vasquez. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0. Motion
Thank you,
passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Karen?
Moving on to item number 16, city staff. We'll start here. Brad?
Couple of things. Pickleball courts will be playable by Monday.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
They were painting them today and probably put the nets and stuff up. And then we're doing 2 little sidewalks from the parking lot and then from the 8th Street sidewalk in. That'll be the only thing we have left. But the courts will be playable. There was people actually on the tennis courts playing pickleball today. So,
They're ready.
the water line project's moving right along. We're also doing a water line project in-house over here on South Kane, north of Pine Street. We're replacing that whole main through there in-house. And just a heads up, because you'll probably be getting calls on the restrooms, we're gonna keep an eye on the temperature, and as soon as we feel like it's not gonna freeze anymore, we will get them open as soon as possible. That's it.
Thank you.
Any other city staff?
You're not gonna update on the golf course? Well, I would give you an update a little bit. If you haven't been out there, it looks, I mean, from yesterday to today, it looks amazing. They've got the hat rack up, they've got the counter towers up. I mean, it's really nice. It looks really good. If you get a chance, stop by in there.
Yeah, I went by last week and it really, and I know it wasn't even complete yet, but it looked a lot better.
They're getting
It looked good,
merchandise
really
out on the
nice.
floor, and
That's exciting.
it's, I think people are gonna be shocked when they walk in there for the first time. They're gonna think they're somewhere else.
Are we doing like an open house or some kind of like reopening celebration?
We're gonna do an open house sale, get rid
Okay.
of some of our old stuff. We are, you guys know, we had,
Just come
close
up.
the meeting down, come up.
It might just come up.
So, thank you, Brad, by the way. So we had closed the greens down temporarily, and now we've talked today about opening them back up, so that is Chris Vermillion's decision on that. And so we're looking towards next week of doing that, so we're gonna figure out where we are the rest of this week. But, that's a big deal. We tried something new, we shut greens down, we put temporaries out, to try to get rid of some of the winter kill and get some of the kind of, overuse during the winter. And we went with that, and I think we're gonna have good results. Doing a lot of tree trimming out there. I cannot say enough about our staff. A lot of this work was done in-house, and they've gone over and above. So, a lot of good stuff. Come out and see it. We are gonna be done with the floor, and then we're gonna look into the back area and see what we have for food options, and that's gonna be a lot of money invested there, so we're not gonna rush into doing that. So, I wanna make sure we do it the right way. But please come by. Pictures don't do it justice. And I have any questions?
So if we went by tomorrow, most of it's ready to go and
Yeah, we're touching up the bathroom, we got the bar area to touch up, counters are done, everything Brad mentioned are done. We gotta do IT, so move everything over to that area that we're gonna be working off of. And then, at this point, it's kind of finding the right pieces for, some of the furniture that needs to go in there and accent stuff and bring a little color. I'm not so much on the color thing, so I'm reaching out to those, kind of those people that know a little bit about interior design, so. But it's good stuff, so. And I think we're gonna touch on something in a minute here, or is that already just, oh, that's passed early, right? We did have ABC out. So, we did have ABC come out and look at our facility and see how we were operating out there and made some adjustments, and I think we're good to go with all that now, so.
Yeah, today's consent agenda, the only thing on it was the liquor license for the
Yes.
golf course.
So we just had to remap and designate certain areas, on the course that we can sell and cannot sell or consume, so. But everything works out good. We're doing all the right things, so. Really happy with, Nick and Chris and, hope, Chris, Ewald gets healthy and comes back and joins us, so.
That's exciting. Is it a yearly membership?
Memberships go from January to December.
Okay.
So somewhere along the line, they started going from April to April, and now we're back on that track.
So something that I thought of that, and I don't know if this is possible, but if we could reach out maybe to like the larger companies and offer maybe payroll deduct, I was just thinking that would motivate more people to join, just, because I see it really popular with the gyms, and so I was just thinking maybe that could help our membership numbers up.
Yeah, we got a pretty healthy membership. We like to tap into those newer golfers and get them out there as well, so we got a lot in store for this year.
Well, thank you for your hard work.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay. Any other city staff? From our attorney?
Nope.
Good. That's good news. Item number 17, city manager's report.
Okay, so Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, I just have a few things today. The first three things I have are congratulations. So we have posted a few of these things, a few we haven't. So I want to start with congratulating Tara Logan with the Animal Shelter. She was recently awarded the Animal Welfare Professional of the Year Award.
Wow.
Say that 5 times, that's a lot. From the Kansas Animal Control Association. So Chet let me know, and I think Keely posted that, so we can make sure that people were aware of that. We all know internally that she does a great job, and that job is very difficult, and it's hard to find quality people who are willing to sacrifice and do that. It's extremely difficult to work with animals in need, overpopulation, the public when it comes to their pets, getting them licensed, different things like that. So we were very excited that she received it. She didn't think she would even come close, but I kind of thought deep down she might. When we heard that she did, I was very happy for her. So second, congratulations to our clerk, Alicia Hidalgo. So she was nominated as a vice chair of the International Institute of Municipal Clerks Conference Committee for 2025 and 2026. She was also selected to be a member of the IIMC Ideal Task Force for 3 terms. I think it's very obvious to everybody who works with her that she takes her role very seriously. She's highly dedicated and been with the company for many, many years, double-digit years. So her efforts don't go unnoticed. She keeps me in line. She assists with everybody in the law and order of the company. Matt and I were talking about that earlier today. So she is very deserving of that. None of us are good at advocating for ourselves or bragging about ourselves, so I try to make sure you guys know these things. Because she attends these conferences, and she's kind of like, in my opinion, a celebrity in the clerks world. She probably doesn't consider herself that, but I think she is. She has way more words on her wall than I could ever have for anything I've done. So very, very excited for her on that. And then also we found out a couple of weeks ago that Keely is going to be in the Leadership Kansas class for 2025, which runs from April to November. And that is a huge honor. Not everybody gets selected for something like that. And we are very fortunate to have these people working for us and representing us on many, many levels, state, national, international. This is very important. So I think Liberal finally has really great representation, and we're coming to the ball field and we're ready to play, where I think before maybe we weren't so much in a position like that. So I think we're getting everybody in the right roles and doing everything that best benefits our community, and that makes me excited. So I wanted to make sure that I gave a shout out to all of those people. Alicia also helped coordinate the ABC meeting, which Steve was referring to a few minutes ago. This was very successful. We had many people that were there. For me, it was extremely enlightening because I hadn't been involved in that before, but we intend to have them back in a month or so to help us with our common consumption ordinance that we're putting together for our community planning guide, so that people can have special events and they won't feel like the city's holding them from doing anything. We are nearing the middle stage of having that guide kind of ready. We're just finalizing some of these. We need to get the district drawn a little bit tighter, and then we need to have them assist us with that ordinance. But that's going to be great and help us for years to come, so we don't have to keep coming back to this and and discussing it and possibly having differences of opinions. We're gonna get this knocked out in the next couple of weeks, which I'm excited about. And Steve, thank you so much for your work at the golf course. That has been a huge talking point in town, and we are excited, and you came in just in time because it's spring, everybody's ready, the weather is turning nice, and so we are looking forward to that. I have many, many other projects ready for Steve, though, as soon as that is over. So we definitely want the lighting out here at the rec center on the north side to be looked at, and then it's finally time for the dog park. We just have to choose a location. And so thank you so much for all of your work on that. And then finally, thank you to our staff and the commission for working with me on the financial path forward for the wastewater plant. That was not a comfortable situation to bring to the surface and to discuss and have it out there for everybody to review and give an opinion on. But we cannot drive if we don't take the car out of park. And we had to do that. We couldn't sit on that anymore. And now we have made a decision tonight that will help us for years to come. And I am very, very grateful for that. And now I can get this loan amended, and everybody will have their fees in okay shape. They're not getting duplicate fees for water and wastewater. So very pleased about that. I can sleep better and I can focus on other things as soon as I get that taken care of with KDHE, so thank you. And that's all that I had.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Okay, moving on to item number 18, items from commissioners. Who wants to start us off?
I'll start. Thank you to the staff in general. I appreciate all your hard work. I know things are getting ready to ramp up, and parks and streets and all those guys are gonna, start taking care of the grass and whatnot, so. But to police and fire and everybody who pitches in help. Individually, Tara, Keely, Alicia, congratulations. Those are awesome things. Also, she's not a city employee, but Raquel Ariano also was nominated and selected for Leadership Kansas. It's a great thing. I'm excited about the Larry and Hickory Street development.
Yeah.
This kinds of sets us up for, now going ahead and getting bids for the streets and utilities and things, and we can get that, hopefully we can get that started and going this year. Steve, thanks for all your hard work, appreciate it. I was out there last week at the golf course, and I'll try and go back by and see the full effect. I'm sure it looks great. And I'm glad Scarlett can sleep now.
Thank you very much.
That's all I have.
Vice Mayor?
Yeah. Thank you so much, city staff, for everything that you do. Go back a week, Pancake Day, what a great day. It was a little windy and a little chilly, but it was pretty awesome. From the time that we started in the morning, it was great. Packed house at the activity center. When I gave my speech in the morning and I looked across the room, I don't think I saw an empty seat anywhere in that place, and the line was going out the door. Congratulations to Pamela Bolivar for winning her second year in a row. So congratulations to her, beating only England by 4 seconds. So it was pretty neat. We told them that we had the wind at our back, so that helped us because we sure had the wind at our back for sure. So what a great event. We didn't get to have the parade, but hopefully next year weather will be a little bit better. Thank you so much for city staff for setting that up. I watched these guys put it together and then tear it down just as fast. The turnover super quick. Same thing for everybody out there at the activity center. Law enforcement that was out there, to everybody that was making pancakes. They ran out of pancakes before the event was actually physically over. So that was how much of a turnout it was. I didn't get extra pancakes, so I don't know who ate them,
I
but
took an extra one.
you took an extra pancake. So it's all her
It's all
fault.
my
Yeah.
fault.
Congratulations to Tara, Alicia, and Keely on your ventures going forward. I think that's great. A lot of good things, like Scarlett said, happening in the city right now. The sun has come up and it's shining down over our shoulders, and we see a lot of positive movement in a lot of great different directions. And I don't think you can say anything better right now. I mean, things are changing and they're changing for the better. So, I think it's just a great thing. So, Other than that, I think that's about it. St. Patty's Day is coming up next week, so please be careful, don't drink and drive. Or our local law enforcement will have you somewhere else for the weekend, for sure. That, thank you so much.
Thank you. Commissioner Warren?
My turn. I do have a question, because I don't know if it'd been talked about or if we changed it last year, and it always is that way, but the sewer evaluation for water, did that stop in February, or?
It actually stops
March 13th.
2 days.
Okay. I was a little bit concerned about that. I didn't kick my sprinkler on, but I did water my trees. And I was thinking about that in the past when we've had this really warm weather, we decided to stop it a little sooner so people that wanted to water could water without really raising their rate or whatever. I don't know if that really makes that much difference or not, but yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we water a lot during the sewer evaluation.
So,
We try to do it at a time that doesn't impact people as much. So mid-December, we don't want to start it in November because we don't want Thanksgiving to be included in that if people have a full household of families. So we start, Brad, correct me if I'm wrong, but mid-December and we go December to January, January to February, February to March.
And I
I
don't
think
mean
in
to
the
horn
last
in on
several
your.
years, we've stopped it early, right?
Yeah, I don't mean to horn in on your comments, but is that something we could back up and do December, January, and February, so when it warms up in March? I know I'm just dying to water my yard, so.
Yeah.
What is, and I'm just throwing this out there. I don't know how much it would affect our income on the sewer deal, but if you leave Christmas and Thanksgiving out and in January, February.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, is January, February, if we're trying to set the rate when people aren't watering their yards, that's really the only way to do it, because it's happened in the past, and it happened this year, as cold as we've had.
Yeah, it does.
It is an ordinance,
Yeah.
so we would have to change that. The ordinance specifically states December through March. But,
My
I
only
mean,
question,
Should
there's
we-
nothing in state statute that we know of that limits how much we have to? Is that something we do on our own?
No, it's a complete city ordinance, so you can make it only 2 months. I don't think I know of any city that only does 2, it's typically the 3 months. And that's just thought to be a better comparative amount than just doing 2 months, if you do December, January, February.
it helped balance.
Like I say, we're doing Christmas now. I mean, we're including Christmas in those dates now. Why couldn't we just back it up and do
You could
December,
do
January,
December for
February?
All the way up to December,
Yeah.
all of January and all of February, you could do that, but like, screw it, so you'd have to amend the
Yeah.
ordinance. It wouldn't be that difficult to do, and of course, it wouldn't help you this year, but it would maybe
Right.
help you the next year.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be less likely to water my yard at 70 degrees on December 10th than I would March 1st if it was 70, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're already usually have shut down your system, but you're itching to fire it up now.
A lot of people putting pre-emergent down now. And
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm seeing people
holding
working.
off to water
yeah,
until.
yeah, mine's down, so.
Can we look at putting that on the agenda if you guys?
We can. At what point do you want us to do it? Just,
Honestly, this one would probably be one anytime throughout the year before next year's evaluation. It's
We
not a
can
top
definitely do
priority
that.
anymore, but
But it's,
Get it
like I
out of the
said,
way.
I just remember for several years, it seems like we've just stopped it. And just said, hey, we're gonna stop it ahead of time. And I don't know if we were supposed to be able to.
Probably not, I hope you did, but I mean,
Well, you were
you may
here.
have, I don't know. I doubt anybody was
You
complaining.
were here,
if
I
you
think we
did.
did it the last 2 years.
I doubt anybody complained if we did, because it
Yeah.
would have gave them a lower rate, I would guess, so.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the right way to do it would be to amend the ordinance to
Well,
reflect.
and
those
our
dates.
intention is for what actually goes in the sewer, not what's going on in the yard anyway.
Right.
So it's, the intent is correct anyway, so if we could look at that, and then, other than that, yeah, I'd like to, it's worth saying again, you know, congratulate our staff, Tara, Alicia, and Keely we have a very accomplished staff, and there's several, I mean, a lot of our staff is, you know, we should be thankful. And, I feel like we're in a, go ahead and extend that to Scarlett too, that we're happy that we're at that point, which, kind of made me start thinking that not to talk about E3, but you know, this is March and August is primaries or whatever already. You know, I don't know if you guys have started thinking about that, but the reason
by
I
the end of
thought
the
about
month,
it
they should
is, is it's not my turn this time, but to have to do that, but if it was, it would have been a lot easier for me to quit. Because I feel like we're in a good place, and that's because of the staff we have in place. Thank you guys for where we're, I think I just feel like we're in a good place, and I like that, and at some point, then you can feel comfortable that it'll continue, and I really feel that way. I told somebody the other, I probably shouldn't say it, but I told somebody the other day, I feel like we could have a 20 or 25-year city manager, and I'm not trying to jinx you, you know, knock on wood or anything like that, but I just feel like we're in a spot where the community is in good hands, and I like that, because that's why we do this, is to try to get there and get staff that are very qualified and committed to their community, and we're there. I feel like we're about as probably closer than we've ever been that I can remember, but and there might be some people that don't like me for saying that either, but it would be the other people that were up here with me the other time. But anyway, and I hate to bring that up to you guys, that letting you know you don't have very many months left before you got to start thinking about that, but I appreciate what you guys do, appreciate staff, and really looking forward to the rest of this year.
And Ron, on the sewer rate point, I've slept since we did that before, but the ordinance doesn't allow for a majority approval to change those dates. But it just seems simpler to not even have that in there and just make it December, January, February, and call it good. So we'll still look at it, and maybe that kind of language would be better for the future, because I think that's a better tool to evaluate the use of sewer.
Well, today is what, the 11th already?
Yeah.
So we got how many days left? 2. Yeah, we don't need to talk about it now, do we?
But for next year.
Well, I don't want to sound too repetitive. I think you guys already pretty much said everything. But congratulations to everybody, and thank you for everybody who continues to support us, whether you come in person or whether you tune in online, because I do see a lot of viewers throughout our meetings who join us digitally. And I also want to say thank you to everybody who serves on our boards. So I did have the pleasure of attending the Arcalen board, and I can just say that we have very dedicated people in our community. I mean, those people genuinely care about the Arcalen, and they work so hard and just try to come up with ideas to make it more like a better destination area. But I guess I had no idea how much work goes into keeping Arcalen open, and they just do a really good job. But I want to say thank you to everybody who serves on all our boards, because I know we do have a lot of people who generously donate their time to serve. And then with along that as well, I do want to congratulate Scarlett, kind of like you mentioned earlier. Sometimes, you know, we don't brag about our accomplishments and all the great things we do. I know you're a very humble person, but I've heard nothing but positive comments in the community about you taking the role. I also have heard, you know, better communication and the transparency that you offer. I know sometimes decisions are difficult, but you do offer that great information where we're able to make informed decisions, and the public also understands the decisions we make. And then also along with that, the Recreation Department did put on a really good event last week to celebrate International Women's Day, which I thought was very well organized. Scarlett was one of the speakers, along with the principal of Sunflower, Ashley Leonard, I believe. They both did a phenomenal job. I actually wish we would have gone Facebook Live, because I just felt like it was very inspirational. And I can truly say I understand why you are the way you are. I got to learn a little bit about Scarlett's story of who she is as a person, starting when she started 3 years old in a pageant. But basically just very, very well pleased with the event, very inspiring. And just like I said, thank you to everybody for all of their hard work.
Thank you. There's really not much more I can add at this point, because it's all been said. But thank you to the staff. Thank you to Tara, Alicia, Keely, for all you do, especially you, Scarlett, for helping get everyone organized. I put Pastor Rex Petty's map, where he found Liberal on the map, in my office on a board that happened to be there. And I truly want to say that this staff we have now, I attended meetings my first year, where you could see that their staff was, knew so much and got so well along with each other from other cities, and Liberal was kind of left out. I think that's really changing now. We are really on the map. People are talking about Liberal. We have so many projects coming down the line that will also bring our name to the forefront. And I think Ron's words are the best ones since he's been here for 7 different terms over the last 25 years. I really do believe we're in one of our best positions, and I would easily stick the staff we have now to have those conversations with the city staff from many of the other cities that I've been to or attended. So thank you for all you guys do, for the positions you're all in. I think everyone is where they need to be, and I'm really happy with what we have and where we're going. With that, moving on to item number 19, the vouchers.
If I could, just a second, I'd like to ask Janeth if she enjoyed our Kalen board meeting enough to go every.
So I'll be honest, it was very interesting. I learned a lot. I learned that we have a lot of bird watchers in our community, and they're getting this awesome new machine that distinguishes when we have rare birds come into the area, which I had no idea that happened. But I would go back. But I just think you guys need to also go.
Write her down.
No, it was very interesting. I'll be honest.
You need to learn that stuff too, Ron.
No, I'll be honest. At first, I was like, or Caitlin, like, what do I know? Go out in the wilderness. But it was very educational. I would go back.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we pay the vouchers in the amount of $1,157,775.63.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Warren and a second by Commissioner Parsons. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0. Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you all.